Secretly recorded from deep inside the bowels of a decommissioned missile silo, we bring you the man, one single man who wants to bring light to the darkness and dark to the lightness. Although he's not always right, he is always certain. So now, with security protocols in place, the protesters have been forced back behind the barricades and the blast doors are now sealed. Without further delay, let me introduce you to the host of HuttCast, Mr. Tim Huttner.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. You can now take your post.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual and participants. These views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the host or the show. The opinions in this broadcast are not to replace your legal, medical, or spiritual professionals.
Welcome. 6/2/2024. HuttCast is back on, and we're going to have a conversation today about, oh, you know it. You called him. You've seen him. He's in the news. Stormy Daniels, #1, Donald J. Trump. If you're a Trumper, if you're not a Trumper, it doesn't matter. This is not about Trump. This is about the whole system. Stand by, HuttCast. We'll be right back. The current healthcare system is not meeting the needs of real people. People are demanding better care, better options, and want results. So Gareth Care has launched and is advocating for those in the U.S. and internationally, as people are realizing the controlled system has not been there for them. If you want your own independent advocate that is not controlled by big corporations, call or text and enroll today to get your advocate for your needs, serving all ages. For any healthcare needs you might have, you matter. Here's how you get started. www.garethcare.com. That is GRAITHCARE.com. Call Gareth Care direct at 469-864-7149. Call or text the questions to Healthcare Sucks and get an advocate with Gareth Care. 469-864-7149. Mention HuttCast and you will get an additional 10% discount on your first advocacy bundle. The staff at Gareth Care will take care of you. Remember, mention HuttCast and get that extra 10% off your first bundle of time. And this is all brought to you from Gareth Care. Welcome back, HuttCast fans. Kind of been a while since I've had some time off. Well-deserved time off, I should say. Earned time off. And new grandbaby in the family. Yes, I'm that old. So that's a couple in the hen house for us. Oh yeah, we're really digging it. So in my pre-roll, we've had this conversation about a Don J. Let's call him Don J. That's kind of funny. And his proclivities, which we still won't know the truth. We can only say what we know, what we hear. We have no idea other than what someone's doing. We've heard this with Clinton. We've heard this with all kinds of politicians. And yet here we are. For the first time in history, we have now decided the liberal left agenda has proceeded to file charges and get some of them to actually stick, Teflon Don, to a guy that, you know, hey, we asked him to do his job. We hired him to do our job. And this liberal left nut jobs decided that we're going to hang this guy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no Don Teflon man side groupie here. I'm a common sense kind of guy. Hence the show, Common Sense. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care about a lot of stuff, about how and what you guys think personally, other than what is common sense. So here's the situation. We hire a guy to do a job. We hire a millionaire to do a job who spends his money, his time, his effort. You know, I know he came into office being a billionaire. I don't even know. Who knows? Who knows what his assets are? What was his P&L stay? We don't give a crap. But I do have to say that when Sleepy Joe got into office, he didn't make shit. Now he's a millionaire, billionaire, who knows what. You should be asking those questions to yourself. We hire one guy to come in who is a millionaire, and then we hire these other guys who aren't millionaires to actually be in office. So put that in your mental Rolodex. Back to the story. So Don J. finally gets, 13 counts? I don't even know. 30-some counts? Who knows? I mean, what really, does it really matter after one or two? Because the liberal left decided to throw this out there to see what they could do, and they hang this guy in his own backyard in New York. Should infuriate you to the next level of infuriation. Just here's why. He's out of office. And it'll do anything to stop him from rerunning again. Because, frankly, the Republicans have no one better to throw at it. Don J. has certainly the proxy and the funding to move forward. And they know they can't stop him in the business world of power. So how are they going to stop him? They're going to stop him by setting new rules. New rules that they have to enforce in the court of public opinion. And they put this guy on the stand, and all they got to do is let him speak, because you've heard him speak. I mean, he's terrible at shutting up, and he kind of fries himself. But Moreland saw my point. At what point in history should this ever be in anything other than a conspiracy? Now, don't get me wrong. I said the magic word, the C word, conspiracy. I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe that things are planned. By whom is irrelevant, but they are planned. So conspiracy is like, okay, yeah, everything's a conspiracy to some people. This is so planned. This is so not even transparent. I mean, it's like transparent as mud. How they want to keep him off this protocol. Because he actually has a chance against Sleepy Joe. Now, how many of you out there sit there and say, okay, this is onshore guys only. I mean, you guys on the other countries, you probably have a guy like this. So try and assimilate what I'm saying to one of your guys. Okay. So how many of you can actually think that he has this kind of a proxy to pull this off again? The liberal left, the crazies are saying, oh crap, we know it too, because we have no one better than Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe can't even conduct sentences. I mean, he's lucky to conduct anything in his life. His wife of 10, 12 years younger is kind of like the go-to gal for care provider, I guess. I mean, for lack of a better word. And they can steer this guy. So the puppet show, which is happening in the Sleepy Joe administration, is being controlled by who knows who. I mean, take your pick. You can't trust any of the news. Hell, don't even trust me. Go out and get your own data. Figure out what you guys see. But more on the point of Stormy Daniels. Okay, kind of a hottie. Yeah, I get it. Who is it? Clinton's gal. Mrs. Cigar. And, okay, Stormy Daniels, of course, a hottie. But the accuser of Donald J. Trump is totally hideous. And she claims of what? That she was accosted by, have you seen her? Okay, this is Don J. He can, pretty much call the shots on any female companionship, and this is who he chooses? Look at Clinton's gal. I don't know about you, but she ain't that good looking. Yeah, think of it. Do the math here. It doesn't even make sense. So, are you mad enough yet? I see on social media, I'm following the buzz. I get constant messages. So, what do you think about the court system? Just frying this guy. And I can't think of any other word other say than, it was conspiracy. Kind of like when Epstein's client list is locked up and everybody else's stuff is kind of locked up, and Hillary's emails, and then all of a sudden, magically delicious, everybody's coming out to fry John J. Huh. I don't know. What do you guys think? Now, take the party out of this. And these guys who wants to constantly hate, he should be in jail. Wear an orange, that's a good color. Oh, come on. Again, I'm no Don J fan, but if this was Biden in this situation, I'd be kind of thinking the same thing. Kind of set up. Either you're fit to do office or you're fit to do nothing. Maybe someday it's fit to have ice cream and crap your pants all. I don't know. So be mad. Be aware. Be aware that if they can do this now, why couldn't they, Dominion voting machines, be corrupt? Why couldn't magically delicious Biden pulls through at middle of the night, 3, 4 in the morning by miraculously finding 80% of his votes? But where did 80% of his votes go in the first place? I know there's some latency between the count and the actual published, because someone has got to sit down and count those. But this is Dominion Company. I can count 500 billion ways in an AI program to give you anything you want within seconds, and you need hours to count this out. I suppose they're backed up by judge officials and make sure they are there, or make sure, I don't know. Again, the big C word's coming out. Conspiracy. So what do you think is going to happen next? So let's say you're a Trumper. A Trumpanzee, some people call them, which I thought was pretty cute. Trumpanzee. Because we don't have one of those words for Obama or Sleepy Joe. I mean, you might. If you do, call them in. I want to hear them. I get a good laugh out of that stuff. So what are they? What are they? Where is this going to go from here? I know I kind of lost my train of thought there. It's like, all right. So back on schedule. If we were going to do this with Joe, they're not going to have any other way to do it other than to hide it out and all of a sudden magically, pow. These votes are going to come in. You're not going to see them. They're going to be there in the middle of the night again. And Sleepy Joe just kind of, yeah. I don't know how you would put that. Either which, if you were to be mad, be upset, if they can do this for the Dominion guys, like I was saying, why couldn't they do it with this? Why couldn't they weaponize the court? Because they did. They totally weaponized that. And there ain't a person around that can stop them. There ain't a group around that can stop them. Because who stops the stoppers? It's like police. Who polices the police? You think AI is going to do it? Yeah, they can. That's Internal Affairs, or IA, sorry. Yeah, I got my vowels backwards. But Internal Affairs, they're about cops. And Internal Affairs is a public and totally supposed to be transparent group without politics. Bet you know where that goes with politics. You can't trust them. Guess I have trust issues, don't I? I've seen too much stupid stuff. Stupid stuff no one can explain. And yet here we are. So again, what do you think? What's your opinions on some of this stuff? If somebody in your home country, your home world, that is being treated like this? My question now is, will he decide to push forward? And can he push forward legally, provided they don't find more ways to weaponize our system against the guy, to keep him from running? The only way they're going to keep him from running again is to give him the 4 years, and he can no longer be president 3 times. So it's 2 terms, 2 term consecutively. So if you kind of do the math, it's 1 term he gives out, 1 4-year term. He comes back in, misses a cycle, comes back in, and now he can put another 2 terms in. So it's 2 terms consecutive, 4 years, and then another 4 years. So he'll be the first president, as far as I know, to do 8, 9, 10, 12 years. 12 years of this guy, if he plays his cards right, provided it's not weaponized again. I don't know. Kind of a thing. Kind of a big thing. Pay attention to how this is going down. And remember this when it's voting time. A lot of social media, this is where I was going earlier. Social media people says, so I can't even begin to tell you how much more people want to just vote for him again just because. Just because the whole system, and it kind of makes sense. It really makes sense to me that he's going to turn him into a martyr, a political martyr. I remember when Gandhi did all this stuff back in the 60s and 70s and passive aggressive and all this crap. Well, why not now? Well, I can give you a couple good reasons why not now, because some of the nut jobs who actually run this country, and I use that loosely, run the country.
We'll be back after a quick break.
I hate talking.
Do you love talking about any topic and are never frustrated during conversations? Then I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if there are topics that you avoid, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Do you know the definition of every word others use? I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if you are curious about the definition and historical usage of words, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Do you know about current events and other random topics? Then I Hate Talking is not a podcast for you.
But if you enjoy conversations on a variety of topics, then listen to I Hate Talking.
Listen to I Hate Talking wherever you get your podcasts.
Episodes drop every Thursday. Listen, like, and follow I Hate Talking today.
These are the participation trophy kids. These are the kids that go to a softball game. Were coached by their parents and team members and all. This is the generation that was out there during these games. T-ball, what have you. And my thought, my personal opinion is, if you don't have win with lose, and everybody's an equal winner, you don't build character in these kids. Look at it. Think about it. Everybody's the same. Everybody wants to do the same thing. You showed up, so therefore you win. Well, showing up is part of life. Want something to happen in your life, you got to show up. So these kids, brought up this way, yes, you did some of the work, so therefore you deserve the same as everybody else. Well, these kids now are gender changers. They're furries. They're all these people that think, okay, now it's okay if my kids want to be a chipmunk and in school pee in litter boxes and all this stupid shit. Really? Think about this. Again, should be mad as hell about this whole thing. They're okay with this. These are the people running our country. By a sheer progression of time, you can't help but be in the mix, through the mix, and out of the mix before the next generation or the next kids, people, furries, animals, chipmunks, whoever you want to call yourself, and identify, why don't you kiss my butt on this identification crap? I identify as the President of the United States. So what are you going to do, cancel me? Doesn't mean I am. No more does it mean that you identify as a female when you're a guy, or vice versa, or a chipmunk, or whatever. Has this crazy country lost its mind? That was a rhetorical question. It absolutely has. So these people who are now in the legacy of time, starting our country's next chapter, decided to hang this Donjay, and they're okay with that. Not that I'm a Bible fearing, God thumping, I'm on everybody's okie dokie list. So you want to pray, whoever pray, you pray to him. That's your business. You want to have same sex marriages, it's your business. But don't tell me what I should be doing in my business, because your core values might not be mine. They might not align at all. And then you're not going to like it. And then what? You get loud and scream and holler. And so again, these people, these things, let's use that, these things. I'll use my own pronouns for these people. These things of people are running our country. And they're okay with it. Because conservatives will not engage. They'll just blow it off and let it sit. Now, I don't know. Everybody keeps saying they're going to wake us up and when they get to that point, and, well, I don't know, January 6th was kind of a thing. That sure got their attention as they ran and hid like the things they are. Again, my metaphor for these guys, these things. Chipmunks, squirrels. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, people. This is life. I don't know what the core values we had back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s, and have changed since the 20s, 21s, 10s, and 30s, and, now what? What are we going to do as a country? I don't know. Sit back, let them run it like a nut job? And these immigrants, don't get me started on these immigrants, but let's say these guys from Rwanda and all these places, and I know, I got a lot of listeners on the east coast of Africa, so I get it. You're starting a shitstorm over there, and you still have it. But now you bring it over here. You can't get along over there. What makes you think you're going to get along with those same people over here? It ain't happening, and we can prove it. For instance, just the other day, here in Minneapolis, there was a police call. And I don't know if you guys know this over country. You might have seen it on the web. I don't know what you guys get for news or if they filter this for you guys. So some PD companies, Minneapolis, responds to a call. Jamal something, black guy, cop, first year in, responds to this call with his partner. He gets shot. Partner gets shot. Jamal dies. And the insanely liberal left, stupid Minneapolis council, mayor, and governor, which they're liberal left pukes, now come on TV and say, okay, remember 2020 and all that stuff? Okay, so they come on and say, and we'll stand behind our police, and we'll do this, and we'll do that, and you should be infuriated. So now they're aspiring to be up in arms again. Well, conservatives don't do that. They don't start riots. They get pissed off. They vote their way out of it. It's supposed to be. And this mayor, first of all, looks like he just woke up out of a get high pot dispensary thing. Greasy face, messed up hair, half shaven. Dude, come on. You're on TV addressing your city. Stand closer to the razor. You sick puke. So I think that was a facade like he did when he cried on George Floyd's casket, the gold-ass casket that I don't know who paid for. We all paid for it in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And he made up such a show, I could puke. He don't even own real estate in his city. He's a bring-in. He's a plant. But he seemed to gain traction, and the liberal left put him in there. Yeah. The city council stands behind these two monkeys. They are going to, we're going to take care of our police. You should be mad as a country, as a city. You should do this, you should do that. P.S. If anybody listened to my previous shows, we've had Liz Collins on here, and her husband, which was silent, but he was here, and with the story of they lied to us, absolutely. First-hand information right here on HuttCast. They lied to us, and they were so about defunding the police, I could puke. This is during the riots of 20. Because poor, helpless George Fentanyl got all screwed up because of his, I don't know, he must have been stoned or high, or who cares? Who cares? I don't care. So they did their job, Derek Chauvin. The people on scene were doing their job, found court guilty, doing time for doing their job for acceptable use of force, which was removed from the from the website of Minneapolis Police Department. They put all their policies online. That night was removed. And then they set this guy up. Someone's going to take a hit. Here he is, the guy taking the hit. incredible amount of stupidness. So here's what I'll do. I got to take a break here. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about how they set this guy up, what's the reason, and why the governor and mayor are now going to stand behind this, and these police department. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people I'm talking to are police officers in Minneapolis 3rd, 4th, and 5th precincts, and I'll tell you what they briefly summarized me. So stand by, HuttCast. We'll be right back.
Buying a gun is no ordinary purchase. Whether you're a hunter, competitive shooter, or self-defense is your priority, there are many kinds of guns and many kinds of training programs. You use your brain all the time. You will rarely need to use your gun. Before you find yourself in a situation where you need to make a critical decision, make sure your training is the best you can get. It could be the difference between life and death, or freedom or detention. For the best quality training, check out permittocarry.us. If you live in Minnesota or Wisconsin or even Florida, give Gene German a call, 612-388-2403. That's Permit to Carry US. Or call Gene German at 612-388-2403.
All right, thanks for coming back. Welcome back to HuttCast. As I left off in previous section, I'm going to explain to you why the Minneapolis Police Department, I talked to some police friends who aren't tied in with the mental cases up top, told me how things went down. So in 2020, when they had the riots, they all wanted a scapegoat. Fry's crying on this guy's casket. There's all kinds of hoopla and crap going on. But here's the story that I was told. When this riot started, they called in the National Guard. And this is a waltz thing. They waited and waited and waited. He waited before he deployed because whatever. They couldn't deploy because they were afraid of what would happen if you let soldiers on the street with actual killing devices, because you know how that shit starts. So you get it going, and all of a sudden somebody accidentally shoots a trigger, and now we got a double murder, homicide, suicide, whatever. Wasn't a murder in my book. It was a situation that was unfair and a bad turn of events, and this is how it turned out, because they got called at a scene. The police didn't just show up and say, hey, I'm going to kill this guy. So that leaves premeditated out in my book. So here we are. The police department is now in the crosshairs. Every cop on the street, every cop. And here I'm telling you this because when this ambush happened here just a couple weeks ago, it's my theory that these guys are now in a crosshairs for everybody who wants to do this job. Do you want to go out and get shot at? I don't think it stands up in my number one book. So these guys come to a show. They get to we call it the big show. On scene. They get shot. City council, mayor, and Waltz, that's our governor, decide, hey, we're going to make a stupid big showing of overboard, support our police, not one word of defunding the police. Which I suppose the circumstances would make sense. You wouldn't start talking stupider. That's right, it's a word right now, stupider than what they were before. And if any of you watch the news, Google it. Just kind of see what these guys do. Again, Fry's all fried. I mean, literally fried. I don't know if he's stoned or what he's doing, but he wanted to put presence and visuals to the look because he's on TV now. Now you got to look the part. And they set this guy up to look stupid, sound stupid, and we're going to now support your police? What? You didn't want to support them when Chauvin and his three other TSOs were out on the street. Why? Where was your support then? Why? Well, because somebody died? Well, someone did die this time, and it was a cop. Black cop. Jamal. And now you want to support him? Why? Because he's a black and he's a cop? You didn't want to support him 4 years earlier, which started the riots, end quote, quote. Again, I can't tell you how in the deepest reaches of my mind how that makes even sense. And now I'm going to tell you the PD guys I do talk to. So I talked quite frequently to a previous SWAT captain, a SWAT team leader, SWAT members, police, PDs, you name it. I got some pretty good ties in the PD. And they're so disgusted with the show of stupidity that these individuals portrayed on national TV, because Jamal was shot, walked into a hostile situation, how they now sickly want to support at any level the police. They stuck it up the cops' butt on that one. And there ain't a cop on this planet who didn't middle finger back at that whole regime. It's a regime. It's not an administration. Administrations are productive. They're in place. It's two totally different things. But regimes makes more sense to me. Every middle finger of a common sense, cop, not cop, fire, had their fingers up at you guys. I could only hope you guys would listen to this show, because that's how stupid you sound. Kind of makes you say, So how do you feel about it? You're the audience. Again, the guys over across seas and stuff, you got your own people. It makes sense. This is not a new trifecta of 3 ways of stupidness. This is just one, it's all stupid. You know a guy or knew a guy or whoever, and if you don't or haven't, good for you. Learn by our mistakes. Learn by our stupid stuff, because it's pretty stupid around here. Not to sound positive, but yeah. The wife doesn't really involve herself in too many politics when we're talking. She has her own opinions, and therefore she chimed in on this one too when these Mayor Fry and Governor Worthless start talking. And she kind of pointed out some things to me that went, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Hence why I'm pushing this podcast today on HuttCast, so you can say, hey, I listened to it too and I watched it. If you haven't, go watch it. Please watch it. It's on pretty much every news channel. Just YouTube it or Googleizer it and watch this and make up your own mind. Decide for yourself. Again, this is not a conspiracy thing I'm pushing on this. This is just a common sense. It was not common. Now, I do say, in a lighter note, that if Dr. Scott Jensen would have won this election, God willing, this would have been handled a whole lot different. First of all, we wouldn't have had the problem with this defund police crap, because that never would have happened. Doc's got his head screwed on really good. He used to be an old senator, and I'll tell you what, he's just an all-around good guy. We missed out. We, as a city, we as a state, we as everybody in Minnesota missed out from our underground hidden bunker locations. A really level-headed good guy. I don't know how we got from Trump to this, but you know what? Sometimes good guys don't wear capes. They wear suits. They wear doctor smocks. They wear grease monkey uniforms. They wear, you get my points. Sometimes the good guys are harder to see, but they're not harder to listen to. There's where you got to kind of focus on, okay, what's the real message? What's he saying? Don't fall into hyperbole and don't fall into this opinions of someone else's crap. Listen for yourself. There's a whole lot of stuff going on the Senate floor this year too, and there were some things going back and forth between the lefts and the rights, and I'll tell you what, being there to see both sides of it and knowing some of both sides of the players was kind of tough to swallow for both sides, even for me. And you sit back and go, ooh, this sounds like kind of a crap storm. So figure it out, guys. I know this is kind of a impromptu. I kind of flew from the pants on this episode just because there was so much going on. You couldn't quantify this in a million years. You just kind of had to let your feelings out and say, okay, opinion piece? Yeah, probably. Know what you know. Find out what you can. And throw me some messages. Does this make you want to vote for Trump either more or less than because they're crucifying him? Again, the memes out there about now Jesus Christ is being crucified, and they tie it to Trump. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, don't be stupid. I didn't see it as that. This doesn't make me want to vote any more for him, other than for the martyr part of this in the system. The martyring part is kind of a real thing for me. You fried somebody just because you didn't like him. That's cancel culture. We've had a show on this cancel culture stuff. I don't like cancel culture. But I can tell you, when you use it against them, it pees them off. It pees them off, but good. So why not? Why not use it against them? Let's tactics their way into it. And they don't know how to handle their own tactics. Cancel them. I don't know. Right for the goose, right for the gander. So if you know those bleeding heart liberal, limb deaf people that are in your world, you work with them. You're in the subway with them. You're at Valley Fair with them, or wherever you are with those people. And you can tell. I mean, you can see. Probably roll up in a Prius. They probably got a Subaru and a, what do you call those things? A RAV4. You know the people. They're always that kind of people. We're showing up in a big Ford Dually Dodge, whatever, with diesel and smoking, and we're not hard to spot either. Not hard at all, but somewhere in the middle there's common sense. And if you can see that, and you can see what they're doing, and you can smell them a mile away, purple hair, any life matters. No, just the colored lives matter. Oh, you have an opportunity. You have absolutely an opportunity to make that and say, hey, turnabout's fair play now, isn't it? It's no different than our medical system. That was weaponized long ago. It was brought to a point where, you listen to some of my sponsors, and I've talked to them, I've had them on the show. They're great sponsors. They want a common holistic approach. They want the doctors to do what doctors do, not what insurance companies do. So again, it's still political. They politicized the most amount of stupidness they could, and they control you with it. Well, how do governments control you? Well, they control your food. They control your water. They control your funding. They control what you see, the media, i.e., they ain't controlling me, just heads up. They control your infrastructure. How do they control you? They control you enough to get your ass back to work and keep paying taxes so that the people that vote for a living can regulate and rule the people who work for a living. Again, not a conspiracy theorist. There are a lot of good Democrats in the world. But there are two parties of Democrats, and we've had this conversation in the past. There's the old school, who in today's world are probably Republicans in real life. And then there's the nut jobs. The people with the participation trophies. The people that everybody happened to have won at the T-ball. Everybody gets a thing. Nobody's got any character to lose, because I'll tell you what, again, losing builds character. Always has. If you ain't good enough, you try harder. Keep trying until you get to that point where you are now the right one. The female in the all-female swim team, the female in the all-basketball, not the male who's a mediocre to shitty player who can now dominate the females because he's bigger, stronger, better physically. And now he can dominate because he just wants to call himself a woman? Wrong. Wrong answer, guys. Total wrongness in HuttCast world. You are still a guy. Period. In my book, period. So how does this focus in your world? How does this come about? Again, my theory is everybody's equal. Everybody's got a participation trophy. Everybody, and now this generation has grown up, and the legacy of time has shown us that we're out and they're in. I have some people, we don't spank my kids. I got my ass spanked on a regular basis. Taught me my boundaries. Hey, don't do this. Wham! Ow! Taught you what not to do. You were taught with pain. Kind of like when George Floyd was taught with pain. Here, you will comply. You will get in the car. I can't breathe. I'm out of air. I can't get back. Well, you will comply with pain. And that's how they'll do it. That's how policing works. You don't sit and talk to somebody and say, well, we're going to do this. Nope. That lasts for about 2 minutes before the cop goes, I got something way better to do. And it ain't you. They cuff them and stuff them back in the squad. Let the DA figure it out. Let the city attorneys figure it out. Ain't my problem now. I got called here. I'm going to stuff him in that car. He's going in here. I'm going to process him. And I am no longer going to be part of this guy's day because I don't want to be there. Yes, it's his job to be there. Doesn't mean he wants to do it. Cops want to do more than just bust people and arrest them all up. And some cops do that. They're out of control, no doubt. But the few don't make it for the rest. I don't know. It's a weird world. You don't know how to handle it. You don't. I mean, there's no book. What are you gonna do? Look it up in the manual? There is no manual for worldness. It's insanely stupid for what's going on. Well, I've had my rant for the day. Actually, for the last couple of days. I've seen what's going on in the news. Pay attention, people. You can't unwrite this. You can't unhistory this. And will we get through it? Well, we're here today because yesterday we couldn't get through it, and here we are. So we will get through it. I don't know when. I'd sure like to be out of the mix of this, but I keep getting dragged into a lot of stupid stuff. Focus on what you do know in life, that's what you really enjoy. What is it? You fish? You hunt? You race? You four-wheel? You sit around and watch TV? Whatever that is. Focus on that and try and keep your politics out of it. Because somewhere, somehow, somebody, some nut job is going to find a way to screw it up for you. I.e. like our gas cans. Oh, I said it. There it is. Have you seen our gas cans? That was kind of a thing a while back. Hey, the government's here to help you with your gas can. They never worked since. They've never worked since. We've never had a good gas can. Now you got to go buy black market gas cans so that you can have a decent gas thing. Dude, again, I cannot write this stuff. This is just insanely stupid. Black market gas cans. So we don't have to have that anti-siphon safety stupid thing going on. How's that for crazy? I don't know. Kind of a rant day. Kind of a ranting day. It's a beautiful June 2nd. Birds are chirping. The temperature's right when you wake up. It's not storming out. Oh, yeah. It's a great day. A great Sunday. So that's what I mean by have a happy Sunday. It's awesome. It's an awesome day. Be with who you want to be with. Get out and enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the people, the parks, or whatever it is you enjoy. We ain't going to be here forever. And the longer we're here, the less someone else is. It just kind of happens when you start getting older. People around you are tipping over. Not a fun day. Not a fun life at that point with those. So that's why you got to make the best of what you do. Do it like nobody else. And you're the guy. You're the gal. That's right, 2 sexes. I did that. I said that. No politically correct crap. Guy and gal, X and Y's. That's it. That's all there is. You want to identify as that? Go to be somewhere else and identify. Yeah. Well, I don't know anything else to say. I wish you well in your endeavors. You guys, I appreciate the constant listening. I'm still getting tons of emails. I hope this gives you a little bit of a flashpoint in your life is saying, hey, does it make sense? I don't know. I kind of stay on track when I could. I got so much to say. Hopefully you're listening and you can come back and say, yeah, it makes sense. So whatever it is you do in life, I wish you well at that. Again, June 2nd, 2024. HuttCast is going to pull the pin. Keep your eyes on our political system because it's going to be kind of a crap show here. Yes. Vote accordingly. Vote mad if you have to. The left don't mind voting mad. They do it all the time. They weaponize their vote. That's just such a waste. Don't weaponize your vote. Vote your heart. Okay. That's it. HuttCast putting a fork in it. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Enjoy it. Be well. I'll be catching up with you soon. There's a couple more House Democrats and House Republicans that want to come on the show, and we're going to give them that time and have some fun with them and just kind of have conversations of what they see. So I'm anxious to see them and how they're doing with things. And we just closed our session here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm really digging that. It's now they need to go out and have themselves a life because you know what, they volunteered for this service, and it's a lot to do, especially if you're on the right side and the left's constantly controlling it, which we are in this state. Okay, be well. HuttCast is out. And that's a wrap for HuttCast. HuttCast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for HuttCast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.